Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to talk about cloth diapering. What is cloth diapering? Everything that you need to know to get started without the overwhelm. So if you're curious about cloth diapers but don't know where to begin, you're in the right place. I've used cloth diapers with both of my girls, so first with my toddler, and now my baby's also using this, so you could say that I do have some experience in my belt. And I will share with you everything that I've learned, all the tips and tricks that I've learned about cloth diapers. We'll cover different kinds of cloth diapers, all of the advantages and disadvantages, how to avoid leaks, all the different tips for absorbency, and washing techniques as well. So if you're ready to save money, reduce waste, and keep your baby comfortable, let's dive right in. So first, let's start with the advantages of cloth diapering. Why would we want to do cloth diapering? What are the reasons that I even started cloth diapering? Actually, there are so many advantages to cloth diapering, so here are the top benefits. The first and maybe the most obvious thing is that it saves money. Did you know that disposable diapers can range between $1,000 to $3,000 per child? That's a lot of money. To compare, a full stash of cloth diapers only costs between $300 to $600, and this can also be reused for future kids. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that you need to think about the laundry, you need to think about water, and you need to think about all the other extras that you need for cloth diapers. But even if you factor that in the long term, cloth diapering still wins by a lot cost-wise compared to disposable diapers, especially if you're going to use it for more than one child. The second advantage is that it's actually much better for baby skin. Cloth diapers don't contain chemicals the same as what you would see in disposable diapers, like dyes, fragrances, or gels. So babies in cloth diapers experience better breathability. So babies in cloth diapers actually experience fewer rashes because of better breathability. Number 3 is also something that's probably very obvious, but is also much more environmentally friendly. Did you know that most disposable diapers take up to 500 years to decompose? That's a really long time, and it also creates tons and tons of waste. Because cloth diapers are reusable, you're able to reduce waste and also decrease your carbon footprint. Number 4 is that there's fewer blowouts and leaks. Yes, you heard that right. When you use cloth diapers the right way, it actually decreases blowouts and leaks, which is a good thing for all of us. The absorbency of your cloth diapers can be customized depending on your baby. If your baby needs more or needs less absorbency, there are ways to be able to customize your cloth diapers so that you can make sure that there are no leaks and there are no blowouts as well. Number 5 is something that's less obvious, but it'll be easier to potty train your child when they're in cloth diapers. According to research, cloth diaper children tend to potty train much earlier, and that is 6 to 12 months earlier than children in disposable diapers. This is because they can actually feel the sensation of wetness, like when you're in disposables, and that they feel the need to go because of the experience of wetness in their diaper, which helps them to recognize the sensation when they need to go. Number 6 is just a cherry on top, which is adorable designs and customization. Have you seen cloth diapers? They're super cute. You can see a range of so many different kinds of styles and different designs of cloth diapers. If you just look online, there's so many different kinds, and you can really customize it according to what you like the best. You can also choose between different types of cloth diapers. You have all-in-one diapers, pocket diapers, covers, all different kinds, which we will get into much later, depending on you and your baby, whichever will fit the routine for you and your baby's needs. Number 7 is no more late night diaper runs. I don't know about you, I've never actually experienced this, but I know that there are so many people who suddenly are out of diapers and they just realize last minute that they need to go get some diapers from the store late at night or in the middle of a busy day because they didn't realize that they didn't have enough anymore. If you're going to be using cloth diapers, you're always going to have diapers at home. And if you get into a good routine, you'll always have them on hand, so you don't have the stress of running to the store when it runs out. Last but not the least is the resale value and reusability. As I mentioned earlier, if you have really good diapers, high quality diapers can usually be used for multiple children. So you have the initial investment in the beginning for your first one, and it'll be quite a huge cost in the very beginning. But as you go through your first child and then the second child, depending on how long they use the diapers, you can definitely use them for more than one child, and you get the most bang out of your buck that way. If you only have one child, or if your children are already done with diapers, you can always resell gently used diapers as well to other parents who are looking for secondhand diapers. So that way you can make back some of your investment and you can help somebody out who also would like to get cloth diapers for a reduced price. And in the same vein, you can also yourself buy secondhand diapers as well. So if, for instance, this is your last baby, or if you just want to try it out and see for yourself, you can always try it out for secondhand diapers. Or also, if you just want to save a little bit more, you can always look in Facebook Marketplace, Vinted, and all these other secondhand stores where they sell gently used cloth diapers, and you can also find very good priced cloth diapers that way. Now that we've discussed the advantages of cloth diapering, let's get into the meat of this video and jump into the tips. Here are the top tips that beginners should know. So the first and probably most difficult step is choosing the right cloth diaper for you. I found this the most overwhelming part, to be honest, because there's just so many options out there and I wasn't really sure what does what, so I really did a lot of research on the different kinds of types. So we're going to go through the different kinds of types in this video. So there are 4 main types of cloth diapers. The first one are pre-folds and covers. So pre-folds and covers are very budget friendly, but they also need folding and fastening. The second one, and the most popular one, are pocket diapers. And that's actually what I have right here. That's the one that we use, our pocket diapers. So pocket diapers have a waterproof outer layer, and then they have a pocket, a hole inside, where you can put in the absorbent material, which are these things. So these are the layers that you can put inside to help to absorb the pee and the poop. The third one are all-in-one diapers, and these are the ones that are most like the disposables. These are the most easy grab-and-go kind of cloth diapers. But the downside of this is that it takes longer to dry. There's also all-in-two diapers, which has a shell, and then the absorbent layers are snapped in. I'm going to put somewhere here little chart which will help you to see the different kinds of diapers and the small differences between these different kinds of diapers. Feel free to pause this video over here so you can see the different kinds and which one you think would make sense for you and your baby. The second tip is to make sure that you have enough diapers. So newborns need a lot more changes than older infants. So newborns tend to need 10 to 12 changes on a day depending, while older babies only need 6 to 8 changes a day. So when I was researching, they said it's good to start with around 24 diapers in your routine. I personally chose not to use cloth diapers from the very beginning. When my daughters were newborns, we didn't use any cloth diapers. We just used the disposable ones because I find the newborn phase very stressful, and it's just a lot, and there's just a lot of things going on. There's like a whole lot of adjustment, and to be able to stay on top of the cloth diapering routine to begin with, I think would have not been easy for us. So we just opted to do cloth diapering after they've finished their newborn stage. One of the most asked questions about cloth diapering is, what is the wash routine? How do you wash cloth diapers, and how does that even begin? This is one of the questions that I also had when I was doing my research, because I wasn't even sure how to go about washing these things. There is a proper wash routine that is generally recommended for cloth diapers. The first is to have a pre-wash rinse. This is just cold water, no detergent. It's just to remove the bigger poop and things like that. The next is the main wash, which is with detergent and also with hot water to deep clean the diapers. The third is an extra rinse to remove any extra residue. Make sure to avoid fabric softeners and extra detergent because they can cause some extra buildup. And it's best to air dry these diapers rather than putting them in a dryer, because it'll make the diapers last longer. And it's also really great if you have the sun, if you have good weather, to dry them under the sun, because it's really good for helping them dry faster, and it's also very good to kill some bacteria. Drying also helps with any discoloration, any stains from any poop in your diapers. Next is to use the right detergent. So stick to the more mainstream detergent. This will yield the best results. Avoid more natural detergents because they might not clean as effectively. We use more natural detergents for our other clothes actually, but we don't use those for the cloth because they're a little bit too mild and they're not as effective in getting all of the gunk and all of the dirt out from cloth diapers. So the next tip is handling poop correctly. So how do you actually handle poop when dealing with cloth diapers? If you're exclusively breastfeeding your baby and they're just in the beginning stages, that is the easiest because their poop is still water soluble, so they can just go right into the wash. You don't have to bother too much with it. For babies who are formula fed or have already started with solids, it is important to use a diaper sprayer to be able to wash off the bigger gunk and all the bigger poop particles. You can also use the dunk and swish method, or you can also use some disposable liners. So these are actually liners that you can put on top. So if, for instance, this is my cloth diaper and the inserts are inside, so on top of this is where the baby's bottom sits, but then to put a disposable liner that you can just get rid of when there's poop is actually very helpful, so that you can remove like the bulk of the poop already. That's actually what we use. So it comes in rolls like these ones, for instance, and they're just like really thin kinds of sheets that you can put right on top of the cloth diaper. And when we stuff our cloth diapers, we put that already on top so that it's just good to go when we need them. If baby would have any poop or any other blowouts, we can just take the liner out and just throw them in the trash directly, or if she didn't have any, we can actually reuse them if we want. Next is to make sure that you're handling the diapers properly when you're storing them between washes. Make sure that you're storing them in a breathable container, so like a breathable pail or a hanging wet bag, so that you can avoid ammonia buildup. Avoid sealing them in a container that is airtight to prevent any stink issues. So these are the bags that we're actually using for our cloth diapers when we're out and about, and these are the bags that we actually give to daycare as well. So these are like washable and waterproof bags, and this material is very similar to the material of the cloth diapers actually, and it's waterproof, so you can just put the diapers inside here once they've been used, and then just zip them up and you're good to go. It contains the stink and you don't smell it anymore, and it also contains the diapers. Even if there's any leaks or anything, it'll just be contained inside the bag. And these are so good. We have maybe like 5 or so of these that we just rotate with, and then we also just wash these together with the cloth diapers as well when we wash them. And they're just really good for on the go, for at daycare or so, that you can just give them this. And afterwards, if you don't need these bags anymore when your children have graduated from diapers, you can still use these bags for anything that's like water, that you need water resistance for. So for instance, if you're gonna go swimming, you can put your wet swimsuits or your wet whatever's in here. You can always use them and keep them in your diaper bag. If there's any accidents, if your toddler has any peeing accidents, you can always use them afterwards. So they're super, super helpful, not just for the stage, but for later on as well. Next is to make sure that you're using the right inserts for absorbency. As I mentioned, there are inserts that are in these cloth diapers, and it really depends on what you want for your absorbency, because there are different kinds of inserts for different kinds of things. So I'm just going to get it out to show you. So for instance, this is like bamboo charcoal kind of material, and it is very absorbent, but it's also black, which really helps for us because this is the top layer that I put like just underneath the diaper, and if there's any poop that goes through, it goes through this layer first before anything else. And it really helps because then even if there's any stains or anything, you don't see anything in here. So it's really helpful like that. There's microfiber inserts, there's cotton inserts, there's bamboo inserts, there's hemp inserts as well. So the difference is that microfiber inserts are very good because they absorb very fast, but the problem is that it can leak if it's compressed. Cotton is also very good for absorbency, and it's also a natural fiber, as you know. Bamboo is also very good because it's soft and trim and even more absorbent than cotton. Hemp is also really good because it has the most absorbency. It can hold water really well, but the problem is it can absorb much less fast, so it can absorb very slowly. So it's best to be paired with another kind of insert. So for instance, I think we have a hemp insert here. I'm not sure if this one is hemp maybe. And then we just pair it with, for instance, a cotton insert, which is fast in absorbency but can hold a little bit less. So this one is slow absorbency but can hold more, and this one is fast absorbency but can hold less. So if you pair them together and then insert them in your diaper, it works really well. So it depends, you can really customize it as you want. We usually do 2 inserts in one diaper so that we are sure that we don't have any accidents. So you just like take them and then grab them in your hand and pull them in like this to stuff them in. So that's part of our routine that we just, after they're all washed and dried, we just stuff them all in. Do it in front of the TV while watching something, and then we put like the layer of this on top like that, and then we just close it in, and that's basically ready for you to use. So it's really not that complicated as you might think. It's really easy, especially when you get into a routine of it, to just do them all in one go, and then once that they're all ready like this, then you can just stuff them into the bag and then you can just use them as needed. If you're going to do nighttime diapering, make sure that you're also adding some extra absorbency, or maybe even using a different cloth diaper type depending on what works best for you. So make sure that you're doubling with your hemp layers and all the different kinds of layers when it's at night, because it's a longer stretch of time, obviously. I read that wool covers are really good for overnight protection. If you have your fitted diapers and then you have the wool on top of it, it's really good for overnight. I personally don't use cloth diapers overnight because we haven't actually tried it. We're a bit afraid to try it during night because we're afraid of any leaks and stuff and any accidents, and it's a little bit more difficult to deal with leaks and accidents at night than during the day. If you want to use it at night, just make sure that you're using extra absorbency and you're taking those into account. But yeah, it just shows that it's not a one-size-fits-all. You can really do what you want, what works best with your family. You can just use cloth diapers from your newborn until they're potty trained. You can also just use it after the newborn phase like we did. You can also use it just during the day like we do, or you can use it also overnight as well. It really depends on what you think works for you and your family. So the next tip is to make sure that you have a good fit of the diapers on your baby to make sure that there are no leaks, or to prevent leaks as much as possible. So make sure that the diaper is very snug at the waist and also on the thigh area, because that's where the leaks usually come from, usually at the back, or sometimes in the front, but usually at the back or here in the thighs as well. Make sure that there are no gaps when you snap the diapers in place. And the cloth diapers that we're using, the pocket diapers, actually have like little snaps in here. So you can really customize the fit, which I really like, because then it like grows with your baby. And here as well, this one, we also customized this one to how big she is. So when she grows a bit bigger, we can just remove this and then it becomes like a bigger diaper. So it'll fit her better when she's a little bit bigger still. And then this one at first is like this. When it's closed, it really snaps very tight. And then if you need it to be less tight, you can just snap it here, snap it here. So it's really like customizable to how big your baby is, which is really good. Then you can really make sure that it's a snug fit and you're going to be able to prevent leaks. There is the 2-finger rule that you need to remember. When you're snapping the diapers on your baby and it's like this, then you need to be able to put in 2 fingers at the waist, and it needs to be a snug fit. Then you know that it's a good fit on your baby, but not too tight. Make sure that the leg elastics here, where the legs are, the little legs, are on the underwear crease, of your baby and not on their thighs, because otherwise it's not going to be able to contain the leaks as well. The last point that I want to make is to stick with it because there is a learning curve. Like I mentioned, it's really so easy once you get the hang of it. It's really like routine. It's just standard, something that you can do very quick and easy once you get the hang of it. But there is a learning curve to making sure that you're doing everything in the right way. It takes a little bit of trial and error, but once you figure it all out, it's actually really easy. You can also join online cloth diapering communities. There are so many online for troubleshooting. You can also do your own research. Google it. There's so many videos online like this as well that goes more in depth or goes through other specific topics for cloth diapering that you can find. And that's it. Cloth diapering really isn't supposed to be complicated. It's here to make our lives easier. And once you figure out a routine that works for you and the right cloth diaper that works for you, it's usually very easy from there. I hope that this was helpful, and if you did find this helpful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any questions on this or would like me to make other videos related to this, please let me know in the comments below. I'm going to make more videos like this related to motherhood, related to parenting, so stick around. Thanks for watching, happy diapering, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!